Hello everyone, how you doing? This video is I'll try to go step by step as much as possible on building this enclosure here. It's the first time I've ever done something that's different like this, but I think it turned out pretty neat. Basically, this enclosure is for my P. striata. So I am running out of cork bark, the stuff that goes in the back. That piece there is actually for my Singapore blue container. As you can see, I've just been working on cutting it with a utility knife. Give it a few goes and it cuts pretty easy. And this one here is going to be a little different from just having the bark in the back. So what I'm going to do is I have this other stuff here, the one I use usually for the front face of the containers. And the idea is to put the last piece of cork bark that I had along one side of the container, and this one here I will hot glue to the container, kind of up like that, giving it kind of like a realistic tree look. And since some of the glass is still visible in the back, what I'm going to do is try to cover that up with this smaller piece. I have it marked already at the halfway mark, so I could cut it and just kind of like put it in the back so that you really can't see the glass. It'll give it a more cool, realistic look. So I'll just end up hot gluing this cork bark to the back, hot glue these pieces together, and then hot glue them to the container, and then just put those pieces in the back. That'll still give adequate space for her to crawl in, either through the side or through the top here. And so she'll be able to hide in here, and part of it will still be visible through the side and through the back because there will be glass exposed. The reason why I thought of this was because I did a enclosure where I build out of natural bark a complete round hide, and that was for my regalis, and she never comes out of there. She stays in there all the time, so the only time you'll ever see her is at night when all the lights are off. So this idea basically is to still be able to view the tea in its natural habitat, so to speak. And so the next steps that I will do will not be anything very interesting, just cutting that cork bark, gluing it to the back, gluing these pieces here where they meet, and putting moss on the glue joints. So I will begin doing that, and then basically just come back once I'm done with that so you can see what it looks like. And of course the front will get a plexiglass lid. And alright, well, that's basically it. I don't want to overdo it. I know I tend to talk a lot in some of my videos, but I really want to just give everybody as much information on being able to do this. So I will be back in a few. Thanks. Okay, everyone, so this is, I think, what I've settled on as far as the idea. Those two pieces right there will go like that, and then the cut piece back there will go in the back, just kind of back there covering up the glass, and a few spots right there in the corner and up on top where there's still a little bit of glass exposed. I'll just cut a few pieces of this here, this little strip of cork bark, put them up there, glue them down, and then just throw some terrarium moss over the glue joints so you can't see that, and it should give a pretty cool natural look. I do like the way it has like different shades of brown. It looks very natural, very cool. So this is basically the idea here. I will get to putting this stuff together. Just as I said, it will stand just exactly the way it is. which is standing by itself right now. And I'll just start hot gluing where the joints are so that it doesn't move anymore, and covering them up, and should look pretty neat when it's all said and done. Alright everyone, I'll keep this short, and I will be back for the third part of this once I've glued everything together. Thanks. Okay everyone, so here we go, part 3. So basically I've already hot glued this back piece here, and this piece is pretty sturdy. Don't want to move it around a lot because hot glue bends, it's kind of rubbery. So as I was doing this, what I think I'm going to do instead is just basically put a piece of the other thicker type tree cork bark back there like that, and then just fill in those gaps where you can see a little bit of glass with this stuff. This last little piece here, I'll just cut it at angles so that it fits kind of like perfect with the piece that's on there right now. And then and I can actually show you how I'll do that. Sorry about the pause there, I accidentally hit a button somewhere on my phone and it stopped it. I'll just take this piece here and cut it to a size that'll give me about 2 pieces, one for this top part and one for here, so probably about halfway through is just right. I'll measure those out just to make sure I have enough, and then I'll just lay those pieces down here and put this over it and just trace an outline so that as I'm cutting it I can make it fit as snug as possible. Then cover it up with a little bit of moss and should look pretty good. Alright everyone, I will be back on when I've done that. Thanks. Hello everyone, okay, here's another short addition to this. Just kind of trying to film step by step as y'all are not seeing what's going on, just so y'all get a good idea. So that piece right there was cut, and as you can see it's pretty snug in there, so it's right on there. Once these pieces are glued in here and you have moss on there, it'll look seamless, so you won't be able to see any of the joints or anything like that. And just to give you an idea, what I did was basically I measured from the edge of this bark to the top part of here, which was about 2 3/4 inches, and that basically became my starting line. So at 2 3/4. So this piece was part of this one. And so what I did next was I put this piece oriented the way it's going to go in there, 2 3/4 inches out, since that was the starting point, and just used my utility knife to cut along that edge so that it would give it a good cut. And so that's what I'll do with the next piece basically, and then I'll have those two there. If I need to do one more piece to try to cover up all the glass, I still have a small piece and that should do it. So that's basically it for that. So the next step that I'll show basically is going to be with the cork bark back up there, that piece up there. All the pieces are going to be glued, and then that'll be the next part. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. I'm sorry, be back. Hello everyone, so this is the next installment of this video. Basically I've already glued everything in the back, put that there. Haven't glued the front piece, that's going to be next, and after I glue it, adding the terrarium moss. So since I have a display shelf, it's kind of crowded right now with a whole bunch of other stuff, but I have a display shelf for these arboreal setups. The front view is more important to me, and just making sure that it looks really nice and neat in front, so that when people see it, it looks good. So just wanted to show this real quick here. Basically, this is all glued in there already. That's good enough right there. A little bit of the glass is exposed if you look at it through the side, but you won't be able to see it the way I have the enclosure set up on my shelf. So that's going to be perfectly fine. And there's a good big viewing window in the back to see the spider even when it's in the burrow, just if I want to see it and check up on it. So that's also pretty awesome. First time I ever tried this type of container, or this type of enclosure, so we'll see how it works. She might just web all that up and I won't be able to see anything, but we'll give it a go. And so now I'm going to glue this big piece on there, just kind of spot glue it in a few key parts. The glue holds it really well, and it's not going to topple over or anything. There's going to be substrate in the bottom also stabilizing it, so it should be pretty good. On the joints, you can actually see there, I have to decide whether I want to do a mixture of just hot gluing some substrate on there to give it a natural look, or terrarium moss. I might just end up doing a little bit of both. But basically I'll just go through, put dabs of glue wherever I want to put some terrarium moss and substrate, and then just put it on there, and basically that's it. So the next installment in this video will be the container completed with terrarium moss and the big piece already on there secure. Alright, so I hope this has helped someone so far, and keep watching to see the final outcome. I'll be back shortly. Thanks. Okay, so far this is how it has turned out. Put the moss on there, glued it, put that other piece back there so you really can't see any of the glass. Covered up a part of the glass was showing with a little bit of the terrarium moss right there in that corner. Kind of blends in really good because I used the more brown piece, not so green. And didn't even really bother to hot glue that piece. Just basically grabbed a good chunk of it and stuffed it in there. And I did that because it's already kind of dry. That's why I used it there. It's already it's not green like these pieces. So that little corner right there can be the corner I used to replace with dry moss whenever I need to. So this is an example of just trying to utilize what you have to make an enclosure. Basically I didn't have a full cork bark piece, so took some of these other pieces that I had and just put them together, and pieces from the other from the leftover cork bark, and used them. And so cut that piece up there on top in half and used that up there for that corner. Turned out pretty good. So basically it's just using what you have and just manipulating it into whatever you can. So the substrate level will come up about 5 inches, covering all that up, and so it'll look nice and even from the surface. And I will be showing you that as well. I did want to take a moment here to show you what it's going to look like kind of standing up, and show you that it's pretty sturdy. Although there's not a whole bunch of hot glue in there, that piece will hold. That hot glue is pretty strong. So from the top, as you can see, there's glass exposed in the back, and it has a great amount of space to come in here and hide. So that was the general idea, that from the front it looks like a complete piece, but from the back you can actually see the T. So let me tilt this, try to get rid of the glare. I don't know if that helped much, but from the back you'll be able to see it. And as you can see from the back, sorry, I'm getting a glare here. As you can see from the back, just kind of Frankenstein this whole thing, and got it all set up and put together. That really doesn't matter. Nobody really sees the back, and unless they're looking at the T. And you can also get a good top view. From here. Great top view, even from the side. This is giving off a lot of glare, sorry about that. From the side, has a good comfortable spot, but yet it's quite open to be able to see it. And so, standing up, it'll have a plexiglass lid, substrate up, going above that level where the cork bark is. So you'll be able to, this is basically what it'll look like. At this level right here is basically will be exposed from the cork bark. So pretty cool looking little setup. Looks almost like a little nature tree or something. And as you can see, there's a little bit of glass exposed right there in that opening and the bottom opening right there. I wasn't too worried about that, just because more than likely she'll web it up. She'll web it up and put substrate out there and kind of finish the project off. They tend to do that so that they are pretty enclosed in there, and so she'll take care of that. And the next video part to this will be basically the completed container, which for this container I am going to do a lid with just drilled holes instead of the vents. It'll be easier, and it won't obstruct the view. The idea for not doing that in the past is that the crickets, there's a possibility they can get out. But if these guys are going to eat, they're going to eat pretty quick. They're not going to let the cricket just get away. Also, when they're in that hide back there, you can just throw the crickets in there, and they'll get caught up in the web, and definitely draw the attention of the T, and it'll get them. So pretty cool. In that corner over there, I am planning to put like a pothos plant, and just kind of like let it wrap around the front and near where the water dish will go. So that should be pretty neat. Just haven't been able to find any recently for some reason. But this is it so far, and the next video will be with the lid and the entire thing complete. Alright everyone, be back for just a short video when it's done. Hello everyone, how you doing? This is the last installment on this video on building this enclosure for my pea striata. So this is a finished product basically, as you can see. Just like my other containers, I put the vents in the front. And I do have tutorial videos on how to make these vents, and basically it's all plexiglass in the front and just a standard 10-gallon aquarium. So this is what the final product looks like. Pretty cool setup there. It'll have a place to hide behind that cork bark tree basically that I put together. Got a water dish in there with some terrarium moss around it just for decoration, and it's ready to go. So these, let me just keep this steady. So these clamps here just open up, and I usually just put something in there so it can push its way out. It opens, and that's what the finished product looks like. So the next video you will see this in will be on actually rehousing my pea striata in here. And I do also plan to put a plant back there, the pothos plant, golden pothos. Those are pretty hardy plants. They maintain well for a while, and it gives it a lot of color. Whenever I do get the plant and put it in there, I will just do an update on some of the enclosures and with and without the plant, so you can see the difference that it makes. It really makes it look really cool and brings it to life. So that is it right there. Hope this helps someone, especially if you have just a lot of leftover stuff from building a setup. This is one way you could put just things together to make an enclosure without having to go out and buy all new material. So try to keep it as steady as possible. And that's basically it, everyone. Alright, I hope this helps someone, and thanks for watching.